Hi everyone. Good evening, afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. Good evening and welcome to Andor Analytics webinar. We are glad to have you here. So welcome, 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 welcome. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. All right, so before we start, briefly, I would like us to do something before we start. So this is something that we always do, right? This is something that we always do. Let us get to know where we are all joining from. So you can leave where you're joining from in the comment section. Not just leaving where you're joining from in the comment section. All right, please, if you are joining with your mic, can you please mute yourself? Okay. Can you mute yourself?
Move it from the middle.
Yeah. All right. So sorry about that. Sorry about that. So I'm sure the person didn't know. Okay. So let us continue doing what we are doing. Good evening, good afternoon, everybody, depending on where you're joining us from. I'm so glad to have you all here. And I'm sure that before you guys clicked on the link, there must have been something that you are expecting from this webinar. So let us know in the chat, what is it that you are expecting from this webinar? Let us know where you're joining us from and what are your expectations from this webinar. Okay, so let's just do that quickly before we start. So I've seen my person from Ogun State, Ezekiel, welcome. Good to have you here. Daisy from Nairobi, Kenya, welcome, welcome, and good to have you here. We have Sikiru from Lagos, Nigeria. So welcome, glad to have you here. All right, so we can do better, we can do better. Hi, Peters, glad to have you here. So we can do better. Let's leave where we are joining us, where you are joining us from in the chat, okay? And tell us your expectations. What is that thing that you are expecting from this webinar? Fine, the topic for today's webinar is design principles for effective visualizations. Now, what are your expectations from this webinar? So let us know in the chat and we'll start with what we have for today. Hi, Femi from UK. So let us know, everyone, please let us know in the chat. Tell us where you are joining us from. We would like to know where our audience are joining us from. Okay, so let us know where you're joining us from and what are your expectations from this webinar. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So if you're just joining us, let us know where you're joining us from. Welcome, by the way. Welcome to this webinar. We are so glad, we're so excited to have you join us today. We We know that today is going to be a very insightful day. So welcome, 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 welcome. So exactly. We have Bashira from Lagos. We have Taiwo from Ibadan. So let us know where you are joining us from. Okay, let us know where we are joining us from. All right. So my name is Sandra Ashagade, and I'm the data analytics team lead at Amdo Analytics. And today I'm going to be your host for this webinar where we're going to talk about the design principles. What are these key principles that you need to create effective visualizations? We're also going to see what exactly are effective visualization. How can you make your visualizations effective? All right. So apart from being a data analytics team lead at Amdo Analytics, I've also worked with clients from diverse sectors, energy, edtech, project management consultancy, and other sectors. All right, so I'm going to share with you how you can make your visualizations effective. Okay, so good evening. Okay, we have Oluwafemi from Lagos. So welcome everybody. Welcome. Nice to have you here. All right. So who are we at Amdo? Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Amdo Analytics is an edtech platform that empowers individuals with skills, with data analytics skill sets. Okay, so we provide them with comprehensive training, and our main vision is to ensure that is to be that platform that is able to pass on that knowledge to people who are looking out to starting a career in data analytics, right? Data analytics is a fast growing career. People will tell you that data analytics is saturated. It is not saturated. As long as we have businesses growing every day, we have businesses every blessed day. Everybody or people are opening businesses every day, and they need you who is looking out to starting a career in data analytics to be able to help them out, make better use of their data. And data visualization is one of the key areas, one of the key aspects of data analytics. All right. Okay, so in this webinar, we are going to be looking at the following. We're going to look at the fundamentals of data visualization, design principles for effective visualization, choosing the right visuals, best practices and common pitfalls, and examples of effective visualization. And we're also going to have a little exercise so that we are sure that we actually understand what we are doing here. Okay, so if you're just joining us again, welcome, and we are glad to have you here. All right, so first of all, before we dive into what effective visualization is, what is data visualization, first of all? So data visualization is an aspect, right? It's an aspect of data analytics that enables you create graphical representation of your information and data using visual elements like charts. We have bar charts, we have pie charts, map charts, we have graphs and all of that. So it is what is going to help you convey your message clearly to your audience. We have audience that are not really good with numbers, but when they see visuals, they're able to understand that, okay, this is what is happening. All right. So data visualization helps in identifying patterns, trends, and outliers quickly in your data. And it's also one of the major things in data analytics or data visualization is that it facilitates effective communication. All right, effective communication. We are laying emphasis on effective. You can be visualizing something, but that visualization, you need to ask yourself, is that visualization effective? Are you sure this visualization is needed? Are you sure your audience is going to understand what your visualization is saying? All right, so it facilitates effective communication of data findings to diverse audiences. All right, so we have audiences from different sectors. We have those that don't even know much about data analysis. They don't know much about data visualization. But how well can you communicate your findings to this audience that do not understand this thing, that do not understand the tool, that do not understand, okay, I use Excel to do this too. I use Power BI to do this too. So how well can you facilitate effective communication using data visualization? Okay, so right before we go into the key principles for design for effective visualization, what is effective visualization? So effective visualization is the practice of presenting your data in a clear, you can say that the words are lighted, right? The words are lighted because these are the words that I'm laying emphasis on, in a clear, concise, and a way that is easy to interpret. All right. So if I'm looking at your visual and I'm not able to interpret it at once, that means you are failed, right? That visualization has failed. If I'm spending more than 3 minutes looking at a visual, trying to understand it, trying to understand what it's talking about, then the basis, the essence of that data analysis, of that visualization, it has failed because the person was not able to communicate that insight that is trying to communicate effectively. Okay. All right. So what are the key design principles for effective visualization? Okay. So we have clarity. We have clarity. When doing visualization, you should present your visual in a way that it is clear. It is clear. You don't have confusing elements in your visual. Keep it simple. It should be clear, and you should avoid anything that will cause confusion. That is why we have clarity, right? You don't need to do too much. You do not need to do too much to pass your information. You don't need to do too much at all. So keep it clear, keep it simple. Then we have simplify. Whatever thing that you're doing, make sure that that visual is focused. Whatever analysis that you have in mind, make sure that that visualization is focused on that analysis. All right. So you should be focused on the analysis. You should be clear on what you want to present. All right. So when you are clear on, okay, this is the insight that I want to bring out from this data, then you simplify it. All right. So then you simplify it so that it meets your audience demand. At the end of the day, you are trying to satisfy your audience, satisfy your stakeholders, satisfy your bosses, your employers. So it is not just because of you. So don't say that, okay, I need this visual to be so this, so that, then you do it the way you feel or you think it's good, neglecting what your audiences will feel. All right, so you have to keep it simple. Then we have accuracy. So you ensure that your data is presented accurately. You should be truthful in your presentation. Do not manipulate. Whenever you are presenting any insight, make sure that you are presenting it according to what is in the data. Do not go there to manipulate. Let me just manipulate. It's not going to mean anything. Let me just manipulate. No. So we need to make sure that you are credible. We can trust your insights. But by the time you start to bring in figures that are not supposed to be there, that means you cannot be trusted. Whatever insights that you are bringing or whatever insight that you are giving to us cannot be trusted. All right. So you have to ensure that your visualization is accurate. Keep your visualization accurate. Avoid misleading scales and manipulating of data. So do not manipulate your data just so that you can impress or say what is not in the data. Then we have relevance. So how relevant is that visual that you are using? right? Remember I said that whenever you are trying to create a visual, make sure that it is relevant to your analysis. Okay, so if it's not relevant to your analysis, then it shouldn't be there. It is not until you put 20 visuals in a report. It is not until you put 20 visuals in a report or 30 visuals in a dashboard before we will hail you that, okay, what you did is making sense. No, it is not until you do that. Okay, so you have to make sure that whatever visual that you are putting in your dashboard, in your report, it should be relevant to the analysis. As we go in for that, I'm going to show you examples of what I'm talking about. All right, I'm going to show you examples of what I'm talking about. Okay, so we have consistency. Ensure that you are consistent throughout your visualization. If you are using a particular color for a particular category, maintain that consistency. Okay, so if you say that, okay, you are analyzing the cost of, let's see, you're analyzing the cost of cars by brand. So let's say we have Toyota, we have Lexus, all right, and you've given Toyota color green, and then in another visual, I am seeing that Toyota is color blue. You have ruined the consistency. So you have to make sure that your visualization is consistent. Maintain a consistent style, consistent color, consistent theme. Do not overdo. Okay, I understand that there is a lot of noise, right? We are see, you might see people's visualization online and you think that, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. No, you have to like sit down, assess that visualization. Look at it. Is it effective? Is it effective? Okay. Then we have interactivity. All right. So your visual should be, all right. So let's say you're creating a dashboard or you're creating a report. If you're creating a dashboard, you should ensure that, okay, your visual is interactive. You should include slicers, filters, anything that allows your audience to filter down to a specific category. All right, so anything that allows your audiences to filter down to a specific, so sorry, I'm just going to, so please, if you are unmuted, please just mute yourself, okay? Okay, all right. So you need to ensure that your visuals are interactive, your dashboard is interactive. Although we have static dashboards, we have dynamic dashboards. All right, if you're going to present a static dashboard, then you should ensure that the visuals that you are putting in that dashboard, they are relevant to the insights that you're trying to bring out to your audience. Don't put everything, because let's say your data has 100 features, 100 columns. You want to put everything in that dashboard, please. If it's going to be a static dashboard, only put in the visuals that are relevant. But if it is going to be a dynamic dashboard, then you should ensure that you include slicers and anything that can make your audience or your end user to be able to interact further, to be able to dive deep into the data, okay? All right, so now choosing the right type of visuals. We have bar charts, like I said, we have bar charts, we have column charts, some call it bar charts, some call it column charts. And it is ideal for comparing quantities across categories. So if you have a lot of categories that you want to compare, let's say you want to compare the quantity of products, now you can use a bar chart. Okay, so not just product, it can be anything actually. Let's say you want to compare the cost of living index across countries, you can use a bar chart. But then again, you have to keep it simple. So it is best for highlighting differences and trends among categorical data. All right, so we have two types of data. We have numerical, we have categorical data. Okay, and your bar chart can be vertical or horizontal. So vertical bar chart is what you can see on the screen. And we have the horizontal bar charts. Then it can also be stacked or clustered, which is grouped. So it can be stacked or clustered or grouped. So let's say you're comparing quantities across different categories based on another category. That is when you use a stacked or clustered bar chart or column chart. Okay, and then we have the pie or donut chart. So some people like to use the pie chart, some people like to use the donut chart. Whichever one you use, it is best used for showing proportions and percentages within a whole. So part of a whole, it is best used for showing that, and it is best for visualizing part of a whole when there are few categories. Emphasis on the few categories. In your bar chart, you are not expected to have more than 8 categories. If you are going to have more than 8 categories, then it is best to use a bar chart, right, than using a pie or donut chart. Your donut chart, at least 8, okay, no, at most 8 categories should be in your donut or pie chart. Anything more, please use a bar chart. All right, so these are one of the key principles. So we're still going back to clarity and simplicity. Keep it simple, keep it uncluttered so that whenever anybody is looking at it, they are able to understand. So we have an example here which displays market share of different companies in 1991. So we have that Unilever is the market share for Unilever in 1991 was 31.5%. So when here we are not actually seeing the actual value. If you want to see the actual value, then it's best to use a bar chart. Okay, so it's best to use a bar chart or a column chart. But anytime you want to visualize proportion, like you do not want to see the value itself, you just want to see, okay, how many percent from this whole thing is Unilever, or how many percent of this whole market share is for Unilever. All right. Then we have another bar chart and another pie chart here, which says transport to school. So this is for a student. Okay. So we have that 32% of the time, this particular student uses a car to transport to school. So you can see that anybody can understand this, whether the person is not even a data person, right? But this visual, it is very easy for the person to understand what is going on here. We can see that this particular one has a title which says transport to school. Okay. And 32% of the time, the student uses a car to transport him or herself to school. 25% of the time, he or she uses a bicycle. 26% of the time, he uses a bus, while 70% of the time, he walks. So you can see that it is very, very, very easy to understand this particular data. That is one of the key principles. Keep it simple. Have a clear heading, right? Whatever you are trying to visualize, you need to have a clear title. Okay, what am I going to title this that will be so relatable for anybody, for my audience? Then we have a line, we have line or area charts. So the line charts are for showing trends over time. So whenever you want to show trends of value, it can be revenue. Whenever you want to do that over time, you use a line chart. Okay. All right, so you use a line chart. So it is best ideal for showing trends. So we have an example here, hot dogs sold per day. So anything that talks about day, date, time, All these things fall under the line chart category. So we have that in this particular chart, we have that on Fridays. Okay, so yeah, so on Fridays, this particular company sells more hot dogs on Friday. On Monday, they sell fewer hot dogs.
So my mom buy carriage and I was beginning to admire it. Not the question first.
All right, so on Monday, they sell fewer hot dogs. On Tuesday, so you can see the trend. It is going, so Monday is few, then it goes up on Tuesday. So this trend is just showing us that, okay, it is possible that during the week, right? You know, we know that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, these are busy days for some people, for most people, especially people that work, right? These are busy days for most people that work. So especially on Monday is always a lot. We always have a lot to do on Monday. So it is understandable, right? That, okay, there will be fewer hot dogs sold on Monday. Then Friday is the bubbling day that, okay, we are leaving work, right? On to the next. So Friday, we have more hot dogs sold on Friday. So this chart, it is very easy to tell the trend. And this can also help the business to plan better. What is it that they can do better, right? To ensure that they have sales in other days apart from Friday, right? So we can't just be expecting that, okay, it's only on Friday that we are going to be making sales. So we need to strategize. What can we do better? What can we do? What strategy can we pull to increase sales on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? Okay, so you can see how this line chart can be used to drive business decisions. All right, so you can see how this line chart can be used to drive business decisions. Then we have that area charts emphasize the magnitude of the change. Okay, area charts emphasize the magnitude of the change. So while the line chart is showing the trend, area chart emphasizes on the magnitude. Magnitude as in what is the depth, what is the volume of that change? How great is that change? All right, so we can use area charts to do that. So we have daily visitors record. Okay, and we can see that, okay, we have from 1 to 2 p.m., 2 to 3 p.m., 3 to 4 p.m., 4 to 5 p.m. And we can see that on Mondays, we have more visitors on Mondays, 2 to 3 p.m. on Mondays, right? And then for Wednesdays, we have more visitors 1 to 2 p.m. So you can see the depth, right? The magnitude, the volume of visits. So this is what area chart does.
No be Miriam. Nah, Miriam encourage him to go to talk him out. You understand?
Okay, all right. So sorry, just hold on. Okay, so I'm just going to mute everybody, okay? I'm so sorry, I'm just going to mute everybody, all right, so that we can all follow through. Okay. All right. Okay, so it is best for tracking changes and trends in time series data. So anytime you're working with time series, anytime you get time series, we need time series analysis, use a line chart or an area chart. Okay, so it can be single, it can be stacked. So just like our area chart below, it is stacked because it has, so it is not just the time trend. We are also seeing the trend for different for different time, 1 to 2 p.m., 2 to 3 p.m., 3 to 4 p.m., and 4 to 5 p.m. Then we have histogram. So what is the histogram used for? So the histogram is used for displaying the distribution of continuous variable. We have categorical variable. We have continuous variable. Variables that change, variables that are continuous. They don't have like stop. They always grow. So these are continuous variable. So it is best for understanding the frequency, distribution, and data spread. So in this example we have here, we have distribution of salaries of the employees of ABC Corporation. Okay, and this salaries is in thousands of dollars, right? So you can see it at the bottom here on the x-axis. We have an x-axis title that says salary, thousands of dollars. We have a y-axis title that says number of employees. So now the purpose of this histogram is to show us the distribution, right, of salaries of employees. So we have that, okay, the highest here is 90 to 100, and only few employees, right, fall in that category, 90 to 100,000. Only few employees are paid 90 to 100,000 in that corporation. That is below 50%. Then we have $0 to $10,000. We have 50% of them are paid $0 to $10,000. Okay, so that's not 50%. So we have that 50 people are paid $0 to $10,000. Then the highest here is 40 to 50,000. We have that above 500 employees are paid $40 to $50,000. Okay, so histogram is best used for displaying distribution of continuous variables. Like the salary is a continuous variable. It is not static. So that is why we are using histogram. Then we have scatter plots. I've seen a lot of visuals where people just use scatter plots. They just use it anyhow they like because, I don't know, maybe they see people doing it. All right, so I'm going to take your questions later, right? So we are almost done. I'm going to take your questions later. So we have scatter plots. We have scatter plots or scatter charts. And scatter plots, the main purpose, the main essence of scatter plots, scatter charts is to show correlation. It is used to show relationship between two variables, usually continuous variables. So it is used for plotting individual points to show the relationship between two variables. Now, let us see the different types of correlation we have. So whenever you are using or plotting a scatter plot, pay attention to this type of correlation. So people in economics, they will understand this better. Okay, so we have strong positive correlation. So that means what affects one is affecting the other. So in this strong positive correlation, let us use supply demand curve, for example. All right. So if the price, or let's see, so as the quantity is going up, the price also is going up, right? We have people who increase the price as the quantity is going up. If people are buying a lot, then people will just increase the price because, okay, this thing is booming. This particular business is making sales. Okay, let us increase the price. So here we have a strong positive correlation. Then weak positive correlation, they are not really dependent on each other. So you can see that the points are not meeting that line, right? So that is why it is weak positive correlation. Then we have a strong negative correlation. In this case, let us use the price again. As the price of goods and services go up, the quantity begins to drop, right? As the price of goods and services go up, the quantity begins to drop. That is why we have a downward slope in the strong negative correlation. Then we have a weak negative correlation, so they are not really dependent. You can see that the points are not actually touching the line. All right, so that is why it is weak. So we have no correlation. That is, they are not dependent on each other at all. There is no correlation. There is no correlation at all. So if you are doing any analysis, make sure, like I said, you need to have like what you want to show your audience. You need to have what you want to show them. You can't just go and show them that, okay, you can't just put in any correlation that you want because you feel like, all right, but for this strong positive correlation, this strong negative correlation, it will let them know which of their features are correlated. Is there a relationship between value A and value B? All right, and it will help them to make better plans, make more better business decisions. So it is best for identifying correlations, patterns, and outliers. Outliers are errors, anomalies, or points that are not supposed to be there. Okay. All right, so we have heat map. We have heat map. Heat map is best for representing data density or intensity using color gradients. So it is best for highlighting patterns and correlations in large data sets. So we have this Facebook global engagement visual here. And we can see that, okay, there at the bottom, we have the time from 12 a.m. to 11 p.m. So we can see that the time where there is a lot of engagement is usually between the hours of, 6 a.m. in the morning to 4 p.m. in the evening. All right, so this will give us, like I can just look at this and I will understand it that, okay, on Monday, we have more engagement, 6 p.m. to 4 p.m. All right, on Sunday, there are fewer engagements. Like the distance said, it said that it represents data density. So the parts that are shaded dark, it means that is where there is a lot, and that is where there is more number. The parts that are dark shaded, it is where there is more engagement. So we have here that 11 a.m., 1 to 2 p.m., there are a lot of engagement during this time or during these hours. But on Saturday and Sunday, the engagement becomes lesser. So you can see how heat map can be used here to quickly understand insight, to quickly bring out insights from a data. Now, what are best practices? So we're just going to talk about everything that we've talked about before. So choose the right type of visual, right? Whenever you are presented with a data analysis task, you need to ask yourself, what type of visual will best represent this insight that I'm trying to bring out? Don't just put in anything because to you, it looks fine, right? You need to understand this visual that I'm going to bring, is it going to confuse my audience or is it going to make them understand better? If it is confusing them, that means that visualization is failed. It's a failed work, okay? We have simplify. You need to simplify it. Don't make it too elaborate. Keep it simple so that the main focus will not shift, so that you don't shift their focus from your analysis. Then they are looking at, oh my God, this thing is so beautiful. It is not your work to be creating beautiful things. You are there to bring out valuable insights that will be valuable to that particular business, not just to create beautiful dashboard or beautiful reports. All right. Then use a consistent design. Like in the heat map you saw, you didn't see that, okay, there is a place that there was red, there is blue. That person used blue shade all through. So from light to dark shade of blues. It kept it consistent. It didn't mix colors. It didn't do rainbow color. No, it kept it consistent so that the audience will be able to follow through that, okay, the dark shaded area, the blue, the dark shaded area is the area or it represents the time where people engage more on Facebook. Then label clearly and highlight key data. All the visuals that we've seen so far, you can see how clearly labeled they were, how clearly highlighted they were. No confusing label, right? In the visual that we just saw, which says Facebook engagement, me looking at the visual, I know that, okay, this person is showing me the time that people engage more with Facebook content. All right, so you need to label clearly and highlight key data points. Ensure accuracy. Again, do not manipulate. Keep it simple. All right. Okay. So before we proceed, before we start talking about, the best visual practices, like we'll start looking at these examples, let us hear your questions. You can drop your question in the chat. I already have one question here. Okay, so you can drop your question in the chat and let us know. So what questions do you have for us? Let us know in the chat. Okay, so we are expecting your questions, okay? So let us know in the chat what questions you would like us to answer before we move on to these examples. All right, so let me just answer this. Let me answer Ezekiel. So Ezekiel is asking, is area chart best to visualize cost variance? So you can use area charts, you can use a line chart. All right. And then you need to actually ask yourself, is it that you are visualizing cost variance over time? Or, so if it is over time, then you will use, yes, the recording, okay. So if it is over time, then you will use a line chart or area chart. Remember, the area chart and the line chart, they can be used interchangeably, okay? So the line chart is showing you the trend, while the area chart is showing you the magnitude, that is the volume or gravity. Let me use the word gravity or magnitude of that variance. How deep or how much is that variance? How large is that variance? That is what the area chart is showing you. Okay, so you can use area charts, you can use line charts. Okay, so it depends on you. What do you want to show? Is it that you just want to show the trend that, okay, this is the cost variance for this particular year or this particular month, or, but if you want to show the depth of or the magnitude of that change, then use an area chart. So to give us an idea, how large, how high is the variance? Okay, so we have another question. Please, how can I change the numbering on my chart to suit what I want? Because most of the times, for instance, in Excel, it generates, okay, because most of the time, all right, so, okay, so keep your questions coming. All right, so please, how can I change the numbering on my chart to suit what I want? Because most times, for instance, in Excel, it generates numbering itself. I mean numbering on numbering of value on either X or Y axis. How can I change the numbering on my chart? Do you mean how can you scale it? Change the numbering. So I think you're talking about scaling. All right, so there is actually a settings in Excel that lets you do that. Okay, so there's a setting in Excel that lets you do that. So I'm still trying to get your question. All right, so if you're trying to scale it, right, maybe you want it to be from 0 to 10, from 10 to 20, so 10, 10, 10, just like that. You can do that in Excel. Okay, there's a way you can do that in Excel. So how many visualizations are we to use in a project? Is it a set number or is it to be determined by the type of data? So now one thing you need to know, right? You are the vessel that communicates these insights to your audience. So you need to put your audience in mind. You need to like be in the mind of your audience. What will they want to see? That should be your focus, not what you want to see, not what you want to do. Your focus should be what your audience wants to see. So based on that answer, whatever the audience wants to see, it will determine the number of visualizations that you are going to use in your project, not what you want to use. All right. It is based on what your audience wants to see. Okay, so if you have more questions, you can let us know in the chat. Okay, so we have this visual gotten from Statista. You can see the heading, right? I've not even started looking at the visual, but the heading is already giving me an idea of what this visual is talking about. I've not started going deep into the visual to start looking at it, to start trying to understand it, right? But the heading says 6 in 10 Democrats would pick Harris. The rest is not sure. Okay, the rest is not so sure. So this and this person was truthful in his or her analysis, right? So they said that share of respondents who say Kamala Harris or someone else should be nominated as the Democrat candidate for president. All right. So the blue, you can see the U here, that the blue is representing Kamala Harris. That is, these are people who are willing to vote who are willing to vote for Kamala Harris. Then we have the other gray shade, which are people that are not sure who to vote for, right? They're not sure who to vote for. They are in between, they're on the fence. Then we have people, we have this lilac color, which says that they'll vote someone else instead of Kamala Harris. Okay, and at the bottom here, you can see that this particular survey, the total people who took this survey were 2,048 US adults. So you can see that this person is transparent all through their analysis. They are not going to impute what is not there, because if they do that, that means they are bringing out wrong information, which is wrong, which is actually wrong, which is not a good thing. Okay. And from these 2,048 US adults, we have that they are from 18 years and above. And this survey was taken July 21st, 2024. Okay, so you can see that this person used a very good heading, that anybody at all can understand this visual, that, okay, Democrats, 6 in 10 Democrats would pick Harris, the rest not so sure who to pick. Then we have that 30% independents. Now, this is not Democrat. Now, 30% independents would pick Kamala Harris. We have 24% Republicans who will pick Kamala Harris. So you can see how the colors are simple, right? They are simple and clear. We know that the blue color is representing Kamala Harris. The gray color is people that are not sure who to vote for. The lilac color is representing those that will vote for someone else. So now this visual, can we say it is effective? Yes, it is effective because this particular visual is focusing on Kamala Harris. All right, and then we have this second visual here, which shows the relationship between so this shows the relationship between height and speed of 100-meter finalists at Tokyo 2020. Now, this is a scatter plot. This is a scatter chart. And, okay, so this is the relationship between height and speed. So we have the height on the, we have the height on the x-axis and we have the speed on the y-axis. The correction to this was that this person now separated men, the height of men and the height of women. Separated men, the height of men and the height of women. So here we not just have the overall height, we now have the difference between the height of men and the height of women, and also their speed. Is it that women run faster than men or men run faster than women? So this particular correction will help us to know better. So can we say this second visual is more effective than the first visual? Of course, yes, it is more effective because now we now have it grouped by the gender category. Okay. All right, so we have this visual. So this is a static dashboard. And from the heading, you can see that for a coffee business, focusing on the premium market, fermented coffee presents a clear opportunity in the US market. You can see that the person that actually did this analysis, he or she has already picked out what they want to pick out, right? They've already focused their analysis on fermented coffee. And you can see the color here for fermented coffee is red, and it is red all through, right? So this person gave we can see the heading or the titles, clear titles, so that anybody going through this visual will be able to understand at once what is happening. Most of the visuals here are bar charts, column charts, stacked column charts. So it is not until you put in, so I remember somebody asked a question, how many visuals are we to use in a project, right? Like I said, you have to keep your audience in mind. You have to keep your audience in mind, right? It is what your audience would want to see. And not just your audience. If you notice any key points, you can also pass that message across. Like this particular person, he noticed a key point that fermented coffee presents a clear opportunity in the US market. And from this insight, he was able to make these strategic recommendations. You can see how the colors are consistent, how the dashboard is simplified, how it is simple. It is not filled with, okay, area charts, pie charts, histogram, things that are not needed. So make sure whenever you are creating your visuals, make sure there are visuals that are relevant to your analysis. It is not until you put in 20 visualizations before we'll hail you that, okay, what you just did makes sense. No. So keep it simple, okay? Keep it simple. All right, so what are the common pitfalls? Common pitfalls of visualization: overcomplicating. When you are trying to overdo, in the process of creating a lot of visuals, putting them in one page, instead of passing the message that you are to pass, you end up confusing your audience. Okay, you're going to end up confusing your audience. So please make sure that you do not overdo it, do not over represent. Keep it simple. Like this visual that you saw, keep it simple. Make sure that your message is clear. In this case, this person's message was clear, right? The message here is that fermented coffee, people prefer fermented coffee to other types of coffee. Simple. No need to do too much. He has passed his message clear, effectively. All right, so do not overcomplicate your visuals. Misleading scales. Misleading scales. Make sure your scales are not misleading. In the next visualization that we're going to see, you're going to see an example of a misleading scale. Then we have ignoring context. Like I said, you need to keep your focus in mind, your audience in mind. What is it that your audience are interested in? That should be your context. That should be your main focus. If you ignore what your audience is interested in and you do your own thing, your visualization is not effective because you are the only one enjoying it, not your audience. Okay? Then do not overuse charts. Like a pie chart having more than 10 categories You're overusing the pie chart. Instead of using a pie chart, use a bar chart. Instead of using a pie chart, use a bar chart. If you're going to have more than 10 categories, why keep it in a pie chart? Use a bar chart. I've seen some people that, I've seen some visuals that they use more than, like up to 20 categories in a pie chart. You are not making your visual effective. Instead, you're going to confuse your audience. Like, what is going on here? They won't be able to know which category has the highest percentage, which one has the lowest percentage. It is going to be so confusing. Okay, so do not overcomplicate your visuals. Do not use misleading scales. Do not ignore context. Do not overuse your charts. Now, let's take a look at this visual. All right, so this is a visual for data analyst salaries in 2 different countries. We have for USA and the United Kingdom. Now, let me even leave it to you. Let me leave it to my audience. Now, do you think this visual is effective? Do you think this visual is effective? If you think if you think it is effective, let me know in the chat. If you think it is not effective, let me know in the chat, and also state your reason. So just look at this visual and let me know if you think this visual is effective. What is the error that you can notice? Is there something that is going on that should not be going on? So let me know in the chat. Okay, so if you say it is not effective, what is your reason for it not being effective? So I can see answers already. So well done, well done, well done. Okay, so let's keep it coming in the chats. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing here from your comments, it is not effective. Different currencies are being used. Okay, so that is one. What other thing can you notice? What other thing can you notice? Let's look deeper. What other thing can you notice? What other thing can you notice apart from the scale? So now this is a wrong scaling, right? We have that USA is $71,000, UK is £37,000, but we're trying to compare data analyst salaries in these 2 countries. But why are we having different currencies? So they need to be on the same scale. If we're going to use dollars as a means of measurement, let us use dollars. If we're going to use pounds, let's use pounds. If we're going to use yen, let's use yen. If we're going to use euro, let's use euro. All right, so that is one error in this visualization, right? The scaling is not consistent. All right, it is not consistent. So this person has failed already to pass this information. Because this person does it like, okay, now for the UK, £37,000, I have to do a brain work to start calculating what is £37,000 in dollars. Why do I need to be doing that? When your work is to present this insight in a way that I do not need to do too much of calculation, too much of brain work to be able to understand this. All right, so is there any other thing that you can see? Single map visuals would have been more effective. So that is another thing, right? Single map visuals would have been more effective. Okay. Okay. All right. So now there's also something that I noticed. You know, I talked about being consistent with the colors, right? I talked about being consistent. Okay, yes, the color of the UK looks different than Bashira Salami. I have one cold shield Pepsi for you. I have one cold shield Pepsi for you. So, well, yes, okay. The title could have been more detailed. So I see that we are all following. Yes. So Bashira was able to point out that the color is not consistent. In the map for UK, there is a gray color. In the bar chart, it is white. How come? How did it happen? All right, so that is an error already. So that is an error already. Sikiru said that pie chart is better. Pie chart is better. Do we all agree with that? That pie chart is better? Is pie chart a better visual for this? Or do you think we could have used a heat map or something else? Do you think pie chart is better? Remember, pie chart is used to compare part of a whole. Like how many percent of this is in this? That is when you use a pie chart. How many percent of boys are in this class? How many percent of girls are in this class? That is when you use a pie chart. What is the percentage of sales made in these 2 years or generated in these 2 years? You use a pie chart, you use a donut chart. So again, let us think, should pie charts be used for this visualization? No. So yeah, pie charts cannot be used. All right, so well done, everybody. Well done. It shows that we're actually paying attention. So well done. I'm actually very, very impressed. All right, so number one, the error number one here is the scaling. The scaling is wrong, right? If we are going to compare data analyst salaries across different countries, then we should set a common scale. If it is dollars, let us compare them in dollars. If it is yen, let us use yen. If it is pound, let us use pounds. All right. Then the next error here was the color. The color for UK in the chart is gray. The color in the bar chart is white. Another error. So, right, these are the two errors. And again, somebody mentioned the title, data analyst salaries. The title is not that clear. Data analyst salaries as how? So what do you think this title could have been? What do you think could have been added to this title to make it stand out? So let's hear in the comments, what do you think would have been added to this title to make it stand out? I already have something in mind, but I want to hear from you. What do you think would have been added to this title to make it stand out? Comparison, okay. Peter said dashboard, okay. Data analyst salary comparison, okay. There is something that I want to hear actually. Comparison of data analyst salaries, comparison of data analyst salaries between the UK and USA. Okay, so nice one, Daisy. So yeah, we know that we are comparing. But there is a word that you have not said or mentioned. So that word, because of time, that word is average. All right, it is average because this is not the actual, salary is not static, right? It's possible that in California, what they are paying a data analyst in California will be different from what they're paying a data analyst in New York. So it is not static. So say average data analyst comparison or comparing the average salaries of data analysts in the US and UK. Okay, so well done, everybody. It shows that we are all following. It shows that we are all following. So if you have had a nice time so far, let us know in the chat. If you had a nice time so far, let us know in the chat. If this has been insightful, let us know in the chat. I'm sure it has been insightful because I've been saying do this instead of do that. So well done again. Well done, everybody. So let us know in the chat if you know you've had a nice time so far. Let us know in the chat. Thank you, Dan Musa. Thank you, Oluwafemi. All right, so let us keep it coming. Keep it coming. Put it in the chat. If you know that you've had a nice time so far, put it in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Taiwo. Thank you, Sikiru. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Daisy. Daisy, I love your name. Oh, come and dash me. Come and give it to me. All right, so thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bashira. Thank you. All right. So now we are not ending here, right? We are not going to end here. So it is not just enough that you know how to build visuals. It is not just enough right? You need to know how to be able to align your visual to your audience's needs. Data analysis is, the industry is already growing. We have new technologies. How do you make good use of these technologies to be able to convey your message clearly to your audience? All right, and that is what we do at Amdo Analytics. Okay, that is what we do at Amdo Analytics. We help you, right? We help you, we hold you by the hand, we teach you, this is the thing that you are supposed to do. This is how you are to do it. Right? It is not just enough that you know the tool. You can know the tool, right? You can know how to use Excel. You can know how to use Power BI. You can know how to use Tableau. You can know how to do Python and everything. But how well can you use it to be able to convey your message clearly to your audience? How well can you use it to be able to create effective visualization, which is the purpose? Whatever analysis that you're doing, you have to make sure that it is effective. You're not just analyzing what we know. Give us something that we don't know that will help our business. That is the effectiveness of data analysis. So how can you do that? How can you do that? Like I said, that is what we do here at Amdo Analytics, okay? That is what we do here at Amdo Analytics. Like I said, we'll hold you by the hand, give you the training, the needed training that you need to excel in this data analytics community, in this data analytics tech space. We have so many data analysts that do not know what to do. I have seen them. I have seen them. You're a data analyst and you don't know what to do. I have seen them. All right. So here at Amdo, we train you. We give you that knowledge in 5 months. We are not going to come and lie to you that become a data analyst in 3 months, become a data analyst in 2 months. There is no way you're going to become a data analyst in 3 months or in 2 months, even in 4 months. There is no way. It is a continuous thing. Even there is still life beyond the 5 months. There is still life beyond the 5 months. But the training that we give that we'll give to you will help you, that even on your own, you can be able to learn even on your own, because you've already gotten this knowledge, this foundational knowledge. Okay, so yeah, at Amdo Analytics, as the tech space is growing, we now have AI. How can you use AI to work more better as a data analyst? It is not all the time that you will do everything on your own. No, make AI your friend. AI is not there to chase you out of your job. Make it your friend. Okay, so yeah, at Amdo, like I said, you become a data analyst in 5 months. And the benefits of actually becoming our students is that we don't just teach you how to use the tools. If your LinkedIn is not optimized, if your Upwork is not optimized, people are cashing out big time from LinkedIn. Most of the jobs that I've gotten is from LinkedIn. I didn't need to do much. Most of the jobs that I've gotten is from LinkedIn, from people that know me, from people that have seen what I can do, what I can offer, from people that I don't know in different countries, not just here in Nigeria, different countries. I've worked with people in South Africa, in US, in UK, all from the comfort of my home. And also your CV review. Now, one of the things in getting a job, in getting a good job, you need to have a good CV. Your skills are not just enough. If you do not know how to put that skill, how to arrange it in your CV, you are not going to get a job, okay? So we offer CV review, recommendation, reference letter, and certification. We have live classes. When you register with us, we have live classes, and these live classes span for 3 months. And then you have a project, right? From your classes, we're going to give you project to work on. Project that matter, project that you can showcase confidently to your employers. And we also have virtual internship, which is free for 1 month. This internship, you work with real life data and you present, and you're also going to give strategic recommendations to help businesses in this virtual internship. From all of this, you are going to have 15 projects on your portfolio. You can't say that you're a data analyst, you're a data scientist. Even as a data scientist, you need the knowledge of data analysis. I've seen people, data scientists, who have learned Python and all of that, they're still coming back to learn data analysis. Why? Because before you can become a good data scientist, you need to become a good data analyst. Let me tell you a story, right? So I started from the data science part. Yes, I like the idea that, right, from data science, you can do a lot of cool things. You can predict things. You can build models, right? But then I now got to a point that if I am not good at analyzing data, if I'm not good at finding relationships between my data, how can I build these models? How can I build predictive models? It's not possible. Okay, it is not possible. So with us, we are going to build 15 projects that you can showcase to employers, to potential employers. All right, so enough of me talking, okay? Right, it is better we hear from the horse's mouth. Okay, we have one of our students with us here who is going to share with us his journey with Andor Analytics and how it has been impactful in his data career. All right, so Mr. Peters, let's see, can you unmute yourself? If you are with us, can you unmute yourself? Hello, Mr. Peters, are you with us?
Can you unmute me?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Remember, I muted everybody. Okay, so that we can flow. I'm so sorry. All right, so welcome, okay. Mr. Peters. Good evening.
Good evening,
Thank
everybody.
you for honoring my invite.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
My name is Peters Akpamu. I'm a student and a mentee of Andor Analytics. Journey started a few months back, but before then, I've used Excel extensively, but when I encountered Andor Analytics, I discovered that what I thought I knew in Excel was it was a child's play. So at the end of the day, we got into the Excel class was 1 month, 1 month plus. Then we had our projects. So whatever I thought I knew was just they were just like I mentioned earlier. And then we came to Power BI. The same thing. I have not had Power BI experience. So with Andor Analytics, I put my eye to it as part of the course we had. Then the other part is the SQL class, this structured query language is mind-blowing. Because at the end of the day, whatever we are doing, you need data. I've been into cybersecurity and the rest, but eventually you still need data analysis experience to be able to build up whatever you are building. You don't want to do this or work and calling somebody else to come and help you do analysis. So Andor Analytics has been there for me, and I'm going to actually improve on whoever that is considering joining or going to do data analysis or data analytics should consider it's a good one. Before I joined Andor Analytics, I had experience with one of the providers too in Lagos. I don't want to call the names, so I didn't eventually sign up with them, but I think my signing up with Andor Analytics, I've never regretted it. I think I've enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Peters. Okay, so it
Thank
is
you.
not, we are not going to come here to lie to you that, okay, this is what we are doing, and behind closed door, we are doing something different. All right, so we're not going to come here and do that. Okay, so just like accuracy in data visualization, we also try our best to be accurate with whatever information that we pass on here. Okay, so we have another of our students, Mr. Femi. All right, Mr. Femi, if you're on the call with us, you can introduce yourself and tell us how AMDO Analytics has been of impact to you, how it has been impactful in your data journey.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Sandra.
Hi, Femi. Good evening.
Good evening, Henry. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for honoring my invite.
Of course, I have to honor my teacher's invite so that you don't fail me in my capstone project. Yeah, so it's an honor to be here. There's so much to share, but I'll try and summarize in a couple of minutes. I'm an engineer and also a business professional, and the whole idea about doing data analytics was to upskill myself in terms of application in my professional career, and also having another set of skills that I can use to make an income and even make impact in other spheres of life. It's very intense course. I think it probably will qualify for a diploma. It's a very intense course. There's a lot. I mean, it's really, really loaded, and you learn a lot. So whichever level you are in Excel, which is the first course we did, you will brush up your Excel and get it very good. And then you move on to Power BI, which is sort of like a first level automation of how to use Excel. So basically, you find out that the Excel you normally use with maybe a few tens of data, in the real world, you're using thousands, and you will not be able to process that data without something like Power BI. And what we did today in terms of representation is what will happen in Power BI. And then there's a next level, which is the SQL, which we did as well, where you're even further optimizing and optimization of your data processing and analysis. So then you do your CV review, you do your LinkedIn optimization, and I'm quite confident that you finish the course a much better skilled person. And I'm also confident that other opportunities will come through, either directly as a data analyst or in your professional career, you are seen in a different light. And let me give an example. So I'm a business lead and a business development expert. So what Sandra has been explaining to us all this while comes to play very squarely where, for example, you want to show the health of a business. You want to show the most performing products. You want to show profitability. You want to show location. You want to show so many things. And you do a very powerful automated page. Any sponsor or any director or any MD will be excited to see stuff like that, knowing that they can easily see the health of their business on that one platform. And then scientifically as well, for those that are scientists among us, a lot of data analysis is used in so many. So it's a powerful program. I recommend it for everybody, even if it is just to have another set of skills that you'll be proud can help you. I recommend it to everyone. So thank you, AMDO Analytics. Thanks, Sandra. Thanks, Chinyere. We look forward to, as we round off our course, we look forward to a more fruitful long-time partnership and relationship. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Femi and Mr. Peters. All right, so you can see, right? Like I told you, we are not going to come here to lie to you that this is what we do, whereas we are not, because at the end of the day, the knowledge that we give to you, you are also representing us, okay? If we do not give you the good knowledge, then you will represent us poorly. And you can see from the testimonials of our students, you can see how confident they are in their speech. They know what they are saying. They've gone through this training. They know what they're saying. They know what they are to get from data, how to use these tools that they've learned to be able to make their analysis effective, to be able to make them do efficiently in their respective jobs. All right. So thank you very much, Peters and Femi. Thank you. So now let's come, for most of you who ask, what is the training fee for this program, right? So this program, the actual price of this program is 250,000 Naira, but we have a discounted price. That is for people who come early, right? The actual price of this program is 250,000 Naira for 5 months. 5 months, sorry, I'm putting up 10 fingers for 5 months. Okay, we're going to train you how to be able to go from beginner to expert in Excel, from beginner to expert in Power BI, how to use SQL. I don't know if most of you have heard about SQL, but as a data analyst, as a data scientist, data engineer, whatever profession you are in the data umbrella, you need to know SQL. It is very, very important. Okay, so the discounted price is 200,000 Naira. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly share what our classroom looks like. Okay, so we have a classroom. I'm sorry, just hold on a minute. Okay, so we have a classroom that gives you access to your videos. So even if you finish your program with us, your videos or the videos are still here to fall back on. Let me not lie to you, right? I make use of, I cannot say, oh, I know it all because I've learned it. I don't need to learn. There are times when you forget things. So it is good, it is normal that you come back to videos to refresh your memory. It is not bad at all. So we have videos that will be in your classroom. Okay, when you register with us, these videos are going to be here. They're not going away. So even 5 months, 10 months, 1 year, they are still here. Okay. I'm just going to go back to the PowerPoint slide again because I have a question. All right. Okay. All right. So just message. You can check our page on LinkedIn. You can check our page on Facebook if you want to confirm, right? If you want to be a part of our next course, which is starting on the 17th of this month. If you want to be a part of this course and learn all of these things in 5 months, the year is already coming to an end, right? The year is already coming to an end. What can you show for it? People are already advancing in their tech careers. What can you show for it? People are already making money out of these things. What can you show for it? All right. So if you want to be a part of our next quarter, which is starting on the 17th of August, you can reach out to us on the number that you see in our page on Facebook and on Instagram and on LinkedIn also. Okay. And don't forget, this video will be posted on our YouTube channel. All right, so let me just show you guys our handles very quickly. So for those asking, okay, so this is how you can reach us. And make sure you register. Okay, there is a link that has been going on like that my colleague has been passing in the chat. So make sure you register. All right, so we'll be in contact with you. We'll be in touch with you. All right, so I hope you all had a nice time because I had a nice time talking about data. Data is what I love. I love data visualization. And I really do hope that you guys had a nice time. So thank you once again for joining us Thank you, everybody. And we do hope to see you in our next webinar, in our next masterclass. When you check our YouTube, you are going to see a lot of videos, right? When you check our YouTube, you're going to see videos from past webinars, past masterclasses. Go and learn from our YouTube. You can even learn from our YouTube, all right? But don't forget that we are starting our next data analytics course on the 17th of this month. And I look forward to see you guys. All right, so goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. And make sure you fill the attendance form in the chat.